Welcome to Tampa Home Talk with your host, native Tampa real estate girl, Katrina Madewell, a full-time, passionate, out-of-the-box thinker, love for home ownership kind of realtor with over 21 years of combined mortgage and real estate experience. Tune in every week at this time for expert advice on everything you need to know about home ownership, finance, maintaining great credit, building wealth, and making your everyday life better, and how you can be financially successful today and tomorrow. Remember, love where you live or let Katrina fix it. Now, here's your host of Tampa Home Talk, Katrina Madewell.
Hi, this is Katrina Madewell with Charles Ruttenberg Realty. You are listening to Tampa Home Talk on Real Estate Radio Network. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really happy to be live in studio with Ricardo Gonzalez with Sabadell United Bank. And he's got some excellent credentials I'm going to share with you here in a few minutes and let him dive into some of the fun things that he does. And Sabadell United Bank, first of all, is a very, very, very different bank. And they're not your mom and pop, BOA or the bank with the R and the triangle or some of those different things that you see as you drive down the road. They're based out of Miami initially, and they do a lot of different things with regards to foreign nationals or non-U.S. citizen buyers. They do a lot of things in the jumbo market, which are those higher-end price points for home mortgages. And it's interesting. I can't wait to get into some of their product line and talk about some of the stories of the people that they've helped. But Ricardo Gonzalez is a 13-year veteran here in the Tampa Bay banking market, and he worked for some big companies like Regions Bank, and you also worked for Bank of America, right?
Yeah, that is correct, Katrina.
Thanks for joining me today. I really am excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I am very excited to be here and talk about my company.
Well, let's talk about your credentials first, because first of all, I know you're very involved in the community. We did a lot of events at Greater Tampa Association of Realtors together and put on some great things for the community. The Attorney Realtor Committee for not only real estate agents, but attorneys within our community. That's a little bit of your background because you have a master's degree, right, in international law?
It is correct, Katrina. And one of the things about me, I give back to my community. I am part of the Hispanic Bar Association, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So I do help and participate a lot in their meetings and events. And that is something that has helped me grow as a professional, as a person. So I am proud of that, and I help people. That's one of the things I enjoy to do.
So what prompted you to make the switch? How long have you been over there at Sabadell United Bank?
Well, one of the things is, like you say, I was in one of those big banks. It was more of the same. And when I heard about this Sabadell Bank, this bank from Spain. I wanna know more about this bank. Well, Sabadell United Bank.
And that's where they originally started, was in Spain?
That is correct. Sabadell United Bank is a United States corporation. We are the fifth largest bank in Florida with over 40,000 clients. We are a subsidiary of Banco Sabadell, which is one of the oldest banks in Europe and one of the most successful banks. And we operate out of our headquarters in Miami, Florida, like you mentioned.
I know you have a little branch office here in the Tampa market.
We do.
Downtown.
We do have an office in downtown. We do both banking and lending from that office. And our idea is in the near future is to expand in this area.
That makes sense. And what is your target? How many branches did you guys want to have in the Florida market?
Well, that's hard to say. Right now, in the Florida market, we have over 30 branches, mostly in South Tampa, in South Florida,
yeah.
But hopefully we will have more present here in the Tampa Bay area.
So it's interesting because I love when we run across banks like this, and we were talking about some of the stories of the clients that you guys serve, and I think it's like you say, if it's the right client, you guys are the right bank.
It's correct. It's going like banking 101, going back to our roots where I started banking. It was more personal, knowing your client, knowing their needs. It's not just sell a product, sell a rate. It is just understanding what the customer needs and customize that loan for him or her. And
I know you guys, you're not the right bank for every client.
Well,
so let's talk about who your client is. Like, who's your ideal client? Like, who's a very good match for Sabadell United Bank?
Well, our clients are, Katrina, everybody that is looking to buy a new house. buy a vacation home, refinance it.
And the Florida market would do a lot of second homes.
Correct. A vacation home, new homes or first home buyers, secondary homes or vacation homes. Then we do the refinance. We can refinance existing homes. And also we can do construction loans for people to build their dream homes as well.
So let's talk about some of those things in detail. First of all, I know that one of the niches that you guys have is certainly financing a property for a non-U.S. citizen.
Correct.
So this may even be Canadians are technically considered non-U.S. citizens or
correct.
Canadians.
We consider everybody that doesn't have a green card or a U.S. citizen. We do mortgage for international clients that will be non-U.S. citizens.
And we've had a lot of different people moving here from Russia, from Europe. We get a lot of UK people that vacation here. We have Disney so close, and our beaches are awesome. Our weather's fabulous. So we're seeing a lot of these people that have come over for vacation that love it, and they want to buy a second home here, whether that's a condo or a home.
That is correct. They don't necessarily have to move here or live here, but they have to make this home as their primary home here in the United States, in Florida, of course.
So let's talk about some of those things. Let's talk about why, for example, how can Sabadell Bank do a loan or a transaction for someone that, say, is from the UK or they're from Canada, where another bank is not going to touch that, or they don't want to do it, they don't understand the dynamics?
Well, I would say, first of all, Katrina, our bank, our headquarters are in Miami, Florida. We are very used to the international market. Also, most of the big banks, they don't understand how to underwrite the loans for international customers. They see that as a big risk. For us, we have our minimum requirements, but if that person meets those minimum requirements, we will definitely, consider to extend a loan to that individual.
So what are some of your minimum requirements?
Well, some of the things, and I already mentioned to you, is it have to be a first home for them, and it have to be in Florida.
So like a primary residence?
It would have to be the primary resident. In other words, it cannot be an investment home for that person.
So they don't want to rent it out. They're intending to occupy it in some fashion or another.
You just say the word. They intend to occupy that property, and we will consider that as their primary resident here in the United States and in the state of Florida.
And so let's talk more about that. So what are some of the reasons why another bank doesn't finance a buyer like that where you guys do?
Well, like I say, it's the risk factor, and also it is the ability for those banks to collect the information from those customers.
Right.
Like you're saying, these customers that come from Canada, South America, the UK, Europe, they don't have the normal paperwork banks require, the W-2s, the 1099s. They can pull a credit score.
Right.
So in Sabadell, we have established a procedure that we can see what those customers have, if they qualify for those loans.
So you guys are set up to pull like international credit reports?
There is not such a thing as international credit report. However, we look at the assets. We look at their what they have in other countries. There is some paperwork that we will require for those customers. And one of the things is important for us, for those type of loans, we require 40% down. So the minimum LTV, and we can talk about that, the loan to value is going to be 60% for those properties.
So, I mean, that makes sense because it's obviously a higher risk type loan. You have to collect documentation it's usually currency in a different denomination other than the U.S. dollar.
It is correct. But again, we have a team that is used to that, deals with that. We have underwriters that have experience dealing with those type of individuals. So that's why we can make that a lot easier than in other banks. That's one of the reasons you asked me why other banks don't do those type of products, because they really don't have the resources, or they don't have the understanding to how to do
the means to do it. Like you say, you have to be able to convert the currency and that type of stuff.
It is correct. You have to understand how those countries work in order to translate that into the United States, into our financial world.
Gotcha. Some of the other things that I know you guys are doing too is you're very competitive in the jumbo market.
That is one of our niche. That is one of our specialty. We do have.
Now, when I say jumbo market, I want to break that down too. So in the real estate world, when we say jumbo, what we mean by that is if you're getting a mortgage that is the dollar amount for that mortgage is going to exceed the Fannie Mae guidelines, which is, what is it, 417,000?
Right now, everything that is above 417,000, it is considered in the Tampa Bay area a jumbo loan.
Okay.
Those loans, the way that Sabadell treated, and I will explain, is we treated that as a portfolio loan, meaning then the bank keeps that loan for the rest of the loans. We don't go out and sell the
You're
loan.
not selling it to the secondary servicer where the payments change and type of stuff.
It is correct. The customer start with Sabadell, they start the loan with Sabadell, and they end that loan with Sabadell. We will keep that loan for the term of the loan.
Duration of the
For the duration of the loan, correct.
Which is all about the banking relationship, going back to what you talked about in the beginning.
It is all about banking relationship, having the right person, having the right customer, and doing the right thing for them, and the product and better fit their needs.
So, and the other thing too is I know that you and I have talked about this too. Like you guys like the lower loan to values, meaning you like some more money or skin in the game, but you will finance a property that. The bank's like the condition that the bank would normally want it in to go conventional or even jumbo for that matter. They want the house to be what they consider habitable. Meaning you can't have a leaky roof. You can't have, broken windows and termites eating the floors as such of a property I have now. But you guys, so you're doing those type of loans, right? Where you allow people to get money for the construction, or how does that work?
Well, like I say, we can do either a construction loan, or if the loan fit the jumbo guidelines, we can definitely, if with the right loan to value, we can go ahead and finance that property for that individual. So what type of guidelines are you guys looking for when you talk about the jumbo market? Like what sort of things are you looking to be in place for the clients? Well, for the jumbo market, Katrina, we are looking at somebody with a good credit score. There is, in general, there are three things that we look when we are considered to do a loan for a person. It is what is called the loan to value, LTV. We talk about that. It is, we look at the DTI, or debt to income, and we also look at the credit score. And based on those three criteria and the person's ability to repay the loan, that's where we have our guidelines, say it to.
Where you can be a little bit more flexible.
Correct. Depending on the strength of that individual, we can be a little bit more flexible in a particular loan. Gotcha.
I know we've seen times where people have a ton of cash in the bank, but they don't want to spend it. They want to stay liquid.
We usually see that. We now in the Tampa Bay market, we see people buying cash, and because that's what they were told to do. And I like numbers. So let's say you have $1 million property, and you're going to pay $1 million in cash. As a realtor, as a banker, we should advise those people on how to better leverage their money, their funds.
To leverage it, spread it out, take advantage of. Money is cheap right now.
It is correct. If that person can put 50% down, again, my example of $1 million, if they can put 50% down, $500,000, and finance the rest with a fixed rate or adjustable rate, whatever fit their criteria, a very low rate, that is a win-win situation for that person.
And I know some of the variety of products you guys have really set you apart from the average bank, and there's a lot of different, like I know a lot of times they say, oh, they'll have all these products, but when you start getting into the jumbo category or that jumbo box and start having the conversation of what kind of loan products the bank actually has for jumbo, I would say most of them have just a handful, right? Like less than 5 products.
You are absolutely right, Katrina. Most banks advertise themselves to be in the jumbo market. But when you talk to them, they really have 1 or 2 products available.
Oh, so it's not even 5. I'm giving them more credit.
I think, it's only 1, 2, or 3 products that they can do. Here at Sabadell, we can do adjustable rates. We can do.
I want to dive into some of the different products that you offer, and I know there's a lot of them. We have to take a real quick break here on Tampa Home Talk. You're listening to Katrina Madewell. I'm your host of Tampa Home Talk with Charles Ruttenberg Realty on Real Estate Radio Network. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll come back in a minute. We're going to talk to Ricardo Gonzalez with Sabadell Bank, get into some of the different products they have because there are a ton of them. So you jumbo money listeners out there, instead of tying all your cash up into a property, stick around because you'll want to hear what he has to say next. Back in a moment. Curious what your Tampa home is worth? Here's an easy way to find out what homes like yours are selling for in today's market. Text the word value to 813-377-2775 for a free report on Tampa house prices. We'll send you a free report with up-to-the-minute statistics based on all homes for sale sold in your neighborhood over the last 6 months in all price ranges. To get your free report on Tampa Bay house prices, just call or text the word value to 813-377-2775.
Hi, I'm Ike Antonio Thomas, Director of Salitas House, where we offer homeownership workshops, pre-purchase counseling, foreclosure intervention counseling for homeowners at risk of losing their home, financial coaching for adults and teens. Come sign up for our program where if you save $1,000, we'll give you $1,000. Call us 813-425-4847. Again, 813-425-4847. You can like us on Facebook or you can find us on the web, SalitasHouse.com.
If you are a real estate agent and want to keep more of your hard-earned commission, call me today at 727-538-9200 extension 2. This call will change your real estate career.
Curious where your credit score is? Text the word credit to 813-377-2775. Not sure where it needs to be in order to buy? We'll tell you. Simply text the word credit to 813-377-2775 for access to your credit score now. Welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. Thanks for joining us this Thursday afternoon on your drive home on Tan Talk Radio Network. I'm your host, Katrina Madewell of Tampa Home Talk, and you'll find us here every Thursday and Saturday at 5 p.m. We're part of the Real Estate Radio Network, and we would love to have you. Next week's show, we're going to have Andy Feinberg talking about some of his picks and things for his investors and what kind of advice he gives as far as how to diversify, and just a wonderful, wonderful conversation around that type of stuff. In studio today, we have Ricardo Gonzalez with Sabadell United Bank. And if you missed any part of today's show, you'll definitely want to catch it out on a podcast. We also post them to our website, Facebook, and Twitter. So just search us across the web at Tampa Home Talk. Thank you again very much for joining me today, Ricardo.
Thank you, Katrina. Thank you for having me here.
Sabadell Bank is a very niched bank, and we talked about some of the details in the earlier part of the show. So if you missed any of it, definitely catch up. But to give you a real quick recap, if you're just joining us in the car, we were talking about how you guys do a lot of your niche is the foreign buyer, the people that don't have U.S. credit, they don't have U.S. income as far as dollars. You know, they may be Canadian or from the U.K., and you guys are actually lending them money to buy a property here so they don't have to pay cash.
That is correct, Katrina. Most of those people have the idea that they have to bring cash here to the United States to buy their property. And the fact is, then there are banks like mine that help those people to finance most of their property. Like we talk is going to be based on their LTV. The maximum LTV.
So your loan to value, how much you're putting down?
It's going to be 60% for those properties. However,
so 40% down.
40% down. We will go max at 60% loan to value, but it's a benefit because they don't have to put all the money, all the cash. They don't have to pay the property in cash. They can finance part of that.
Right, and you also do a lot of different things in the jumbo market, and we were talking about that before the break. So we're talking about how the average bank only has maybe 1, 2, or 3 loan products for their jumbo clients. So people that, need to get a loan or a mortgage above $417,000.
It is correct, Katrina. Like we say, above $417,000, most banks have 2 or 3 products. Here at Sabadell, we offer ARM products. Those products
So adjustable rate mortgages. And let's talk about that for a second, because I think adjustable rate mortgages kind of get a little bit of a bad rap over time. And people are concerned because they adjust. But let's talk about some of the benefits to an adjustable rate mortgage before we dive into the programs.
Okay, well, to talk a little bit about the products we have what is called the 5-1 ARM, 30 years amortization. We have the 7-1 ARM and the 10-1 ARM. And the benefit of those is your payment is going to be lower.
Well, what that means, first of all, let's explain that. It's when you say 5-1, 7-1, 10-1 ARM, that means essentially that for that first introductory period, whether it's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, your interest rate is going to be fixed going into that.
That is correct, Katrina. The 5-1 ARM, 7-1 ARM, and 10-1 ARM, it guarantees you that interest rate for the first 5, 7, or 10 years, depending on what product you choose. And after that, the rate is going to adjust depending on the market, the way the market moves.
And you guys, what indexes? You said you're using a lot of stuff on LIBOR.
We use LIBOR on the index. Correct.
Which LIBOR is a pretty good index. If you look at it over the long haul, it's a very stable, slow-moving index. And then your margins are low too. And I want to just chime in on why that's important if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, because the way it happens is if you have a 5-year or a 5-1 ARM for the first 5 years, it's going to be fixed. But after that, let's say you haven't quite paid off the house, or it's not, you have to be in the house for a year or two longer than the initial 5 years you thought you might be there. So essentially your margins are low. So that means when they do the adjustment, it's going to take the index, which is London Interbank Offer Rate LIBOR, and they're going to add that to that low margin to calculate what the new rate's going to be.
That is correct, Katrina. And also, it's going to depend on the market. It depends on the market move. The rate can go down as well as it can go up.
Correct.
We really don't know that. It depends on what the market is going to do at that particular time.
So let's say worst case scenario, someone bought a home, it's a jumbo mortgage. So they say they have a $500,000 mortgage and they've paid down some of it, but they've been in there 5 years and now they have to adjust and the rates are at 15%. So I think a lot of people have a misconception that their rate's going to move, to 15%.
Well, it's always going to be a cap there where, the rates, the bank is going to, we can adjust the rate to that cap we have for that particular loan. And it's going to be, usually the cap doesn't jump with the rate, like you're saying, at 50%. It doesn't go to what the rate is right now.
So if you're starting out 3, 4, 5%, whatever it is, not even talking about APR, but whatever that number is, your initial caps are what, 2% from wherever it starts?
It depends. It depends on the loan, but, it could be, we could have a max of 5, 6% of a cap.
Gotcha. And that's total lifetime cap over the whole life of the mortgage.
It is correct.
Gotcha. So there's caps, and one of the benefits to those products, I think, is if people get paid, like, for example, attorneys. We used this example at lunch the other day. A lot of them get paid on a contingency basis, and they don't get paid until they actually help their clients win the lawsuit or whatever they're trying to do. So they'll get paid in chunks, kind of like in real estate. We get paid in chunks after everyone's happy and we've done all the work that goes into the transaction to get it to the close of escrow. Only then do we get paid based on the commission we've earned. But at that point, it gives someone the opportunity to pay down extra on that principal, and then when it adjusts, they're going to recast that payment based on the lower mortgage amount.
It is correct. So, Katrina, not all the individuals are the same. These loans are not for everybody.
Right.
But if you are that person, then get an